place without the role of the Constituent Assembly. The government's action is subject to constitutional scrutiny. Parliament does not have the power to downgrade states. Right to autonomous self-government is a fundamental right. Abrogation defeats the principle of pluralistic federalism, and 2019 saw the overnight abrogation of the democratic rights post-accession. In a fresh affidavit to the Supreme Court, the centre has said Jammu and Kashmir has seen unprecedented development and peace. The Chief Justice of India has said that the affidavit has no bearing on the constitutional question surrounding Article 370.
जैसे 2019 से पहले कोई टूरिस्ट जम्मू कश्मीर आया ही नहीं, जैसे इससे पहले जम्मू कश्मीर में कभी कोई अमन था ही नहीं, वहां पे इस चीज का भी जवाब दो कि वो नए इलाके कैसे मिलिटेंसी के शिकार हुए अब.
A crackdown on terror, separatism and stone pelting is a reality of the post-370 era. Bunds called by the Hurriyat in the Valley are a thing of the past as the tourism sector booms, showcasing brand India to the globe during the recent G20 meeting. But the constitutional validity will be decided by the top court. Can the government's historic move pass the legal test?
All right, let's open this up to our panelists who are joining us on the talking point this evening on Brass Tacks. R.P. Singh is national spokesperson of the BJP, Mohit Bhan, spokesperson of the PDP, Nilofer Masood, the spokesperson of the National Conference, Lalit Ambardar is a Kashmiri activist. Let me start with you, R.P. Singh. So basically the Supreme Court rejecting the affidavit, the fresh affidavit filed by the central government, saying that whatever material change may or may not have happened on the ground, peace is returned, tourism is back, so on and so forth, has no bearing to what the court is hearing, and the court is confined to just the matter of whether the abrogation of Article 370 is constitutional or not.
Zaka, court has right to reject or approve of whatever they want to, but let's understand why there's a constitution, why there's a parliament. It's only to ensure that there's a law and order being maintained, there's a prosperity in the country, and there is some level of equivalence for everyone. Justice, as for gender justice and other means of justice, there's equivalence for everyone in the state. There's the basic ethos and basic ground of the any constitutional system in the country, and that's why the government has presented their point of view, that how there is no more stone pelting, how there is violence which has reduced to almost 45% now from which earlier it used to be, and how things are turning normal. I mean, how tourism is growing, how things are shaping up, economy is shaping up. So this was a point of view.
Okay.
But that's court point of view. I mean, court can reject that, but also give me a second, sir, give me a second. But I would have appreciated. I mean, court could have also taken into account the apathy of the Kashmiri Pandits also. I mean, they are trying to hear every point of view. I'll appreciate that Kashmiri Pandits should also file their petition along with this, because why it should be one-sided or lopsided by certain section? Why not all sections should be represented? And Mr. Ambardar is here. I'll appreciate he should ask his community to immediately file, because earlier they have tried to approach the court and court has turned down their appeal, which is very sad.
I'll get to that in 1 second. I believe that out of the 23 petitioners, there are some Kashmiri Pandits also who have filed. But anyway, let me go to Mohit Bhan of the PDP. This is what the centre's affidavit says. Of course, like I said, the CJI has said that will have no material bearing on the hearing of the constitutional bench. Unprecedented development in Jammu and Kashmir, unprecedented security and stability, era of peace and prosperity since 2019, no stone pelting in Jammu and Kashmir anymore, zero hartals in Jammu and Kashmir, no hartals in schools and colleges, and substantial income growth for the common man and woman of Jammu and Kashmir. This is what the centre has said in its affidavit. Why should this not have a material bearing? The situation on ground should have a material bearing to the abrogation of Article 370.
Thank you, Zaka, for inviting me on your show tonight. See, first of all, if you are saying that the Supreme Court should, consider the affidavit which has been filed by the central government for consideration, I think you are raising a question on the acumen of the Supreme Court of India, which I think should not be debated.
No. I'm not saying that. One second. I think you're misconstruing my words. So one second. Hear me out. Please don't misconstrue my words. I'm very clear.
No, that's what you said.
That's not what I said. No, that's not what I said. 1 second. 1 second. 10 seconds. 10 seconds. 1 second. Well, hear me out.
Yeah.
What I said was that the law does not operate in isolation. The law has to operate by what is the prevailing situation on the ground. The law works for the people, not the other way around. So if the prevailing situation on the ground is that of peace, that necessarily has to have a bearing on the law.
Zaka, I think more than you and me, the Chief Justice of India understands the law better. I think you and me are far lesser known to the law and the interpretation of laws than the Chief Justice of India. So if he has kept this petition aside, if he has...
So you don't think anything has changed on ground, Mr. Bhan? No, let me ask you as a political spokesperson. Forget about the law. Forget about the law for a moment. Nothing has changed on the ground in the last 4 years? There's no peace that has come. Terrorism is as what it has been. Stone pelting continues. Is that the situation on the ground today?
The acumen or the understanding.
No, I'm asking you, what is the situation on the ground? Forget about the law.
I feel sorry for
you
that.
You are a spokesperson. You live there.
Institutions has been
no, you live there. I'm asking you, as a political party spokesperson, what is your assessment of the situation on the ground in terms of peace, stone pelting, terrorism incidents, etc.?
Listen, Mr. Jacob, we are not discussing the law and order situation here tonight. What we are discussing
sir, I'm asking you a question. I'm asking you a question. Please enlighten me. Please enlighten our viewers. As a resident of the state, of the place, as a resident of Srinagar, what is the ground situation? Please tell us, no. Whether it has bearing or not, forget about it. I'm not getting into that. But please tell us, what is the ground situation?
Okay, once you will hold and debate for law and order situation in Jammu and Kashmir, I will tell you the law and order situation in Jammu and Kashmir. What we are debating
I'm not saying that the debate is on law and order. I've asked you a simple question. I'm asking you a very what is the ground situation? Please tell us.
Why are you running away from debating the legality and the way?
No, I'm happy to debate the legality. No, I'm happy to debate the legality. The legality will be debated in front of the constitutional bench as well. But I'm asking you a very simple question. What is the situation on the ground? You tell me.
No, what we are discussing that after 4.5 years, when the Supreme Court picked up this matter today morning, they said the affidavit because there was no legal court.
I'm with you on that. I'm with you on that. Can you now please answer the question that I asked you? Can you please answer the question that I asked you, which is what is your assessment of the ground situation as it exists today?
Yeah, for sure. So now that you have accepted the argument that the center has no legal standing on Article 370 and 35A, I will tell you that I give a lot of marks for the law and order situation which has been controlled. Now, how this has been controlled is also a point of debate. How the government has been able to achieve this, by creating an atmosphere of fear, by not even allowing people to protest for water and electricity, by not even letting anybody express the basic needs or the basic issues which surround them. That is how the law and order is in place. But I give,
fair enough. I mean, you're a member of the opposition. You're free to paint the picture as you see it on ground. But let me ask. Fair enough. I mean, this might be your assessment. Like I said, I don't live in Srinagar. You do. So I don't live in Srinagar. You do. So this is the way you see it. That's fair enough. Let me ask Lalit Ambardar now. 1 second, sir. Let me open this up to other panelists also. Lalit Ambardar. The point that RP Singh was making, why don't Kashmiri Pandits also join them, make themselves party to this case? That's one part. And two, to what Mr. Bhan said, that this has nothing to do with the situation on the ground. What the Supreme Court is going into is the constitutionality of the abrogation of Article 370. Forget about jo ground mein ho raha hai, ya jo nahi ho raha hai. Lalit.
Zaka, first thing first. This Supreme Court is my court, people's court, India's court. It's not imperial court. We have a right to criticize the court with honor and dignity. Like this very Supreme Court, he threw away the Kashmiri Hindus' plea for justice. The application, the petition was thrown away, saying that it is already 32, so many years have passed by. Where will you find a witness? Can you imagine? Survivors of genocide are seeking justice from the very Supreme Court of India, Honorable Supreme Court of India, and they deny us justice by saying, where will you find the witnesses? Can you imagine 1971, after 71 genocide in East Pakistan, even now, so many decades later, the perpetrators are being hanged in Bangladesh. And my court tells me after 32 years, where will you find the witnesses? That is number one. Number two, what do you expect from the people who exploited Article 370 to further the cause of Islamism in Kashmir? Article 3 say, what did you do? Can you imagine
But come on,
the
Mr.
scenario
Omar,
prior to
that's
5th
it on the
August
topic.
2019?
What Islamization of
Can I-
Kashmir?
No,
What
one second,
article-
one second.
can I-
Mohit Bhan,
This is
one second, please.
absolutely
No,
uncalled
let's
for.
not do this. Let's not do this. Mohit Bhan, no, one
Either
second,
you
one second.
debate the topic.
Lalit did not
Stop
interrupt
drumming.
you. Lalit did not interrupt you when you spoke. Let him finish, and then I'll come back to you. You can rebut what he says, absolutely fine, but not while he's speaking. Yeah, Lalit.
Now, just imagine the scenario prior to Article this 5th August 2019. What was happening? Maharaja Hari Singh, he acceded the whole of Jammu, Kashmir and Ladakh state to the Indian Union. And what did we do? We allowed part of Jammu and Kashmir and Ladakh to be given to Pakistan. So part of it was given to Islamic Republic of Pakistan. Can you imagine a winning army? A marching army was asked to stop and halt, and we went to United Nations organization when my army was capable of liberating the whole of Pakistan occupied Jammu, Kashmir and Ladakh. Number two, what we did in Jammu, Kashmir and Ladakh, we retained. We gave Article 370. It was for 70 years prior to 5th of August 2019, you had Jinnah's two-nation theory of supremacy and exclusivity of Islam prevailing in Kashmir. It was almost like a quasi-Islamic state within the secular state of India. And what did they see? It denied dignity to Valmikis. Can you imagine if I use the word, what a Valmiki community got citizenship certificate written on their profession. If I utter the word on this television now, I can be charged with SC/ST Act. That's how they were dehumanized. Number two, the refugees from Pakistan were denied their rights. Number three, discrimination was happening at Jammu and Ladakh. Number four, and most importantly, Kashmiri Hindus suffered genocide right under the watch of Indian secular constitution under Article 370. And what did it lead to further? Just a second. I want to tell you why they want Article 370 back, because it led to further feasibility in Kashmir. PDP's self-rule. Can you imagine what he's asking for? The top on his agenda is to have joint control of Pakistan and India over Jammu, Kashmir and Ladakh. Can you imagine? 5th August 2019, before that, if it would go with self-rule of PDP, you would have had, besides Kashmir flag, Indian flag and Pakistani flag flying on Secretariat of Jammu and Kashmir.
Okay, so let me Nilofer Masood is also there from the National Conference. Nilofer Masood, what the government is saying, one second, let me go to others also, please. The government used Section 3 of Article 370 to nullify it. The revocation needed a constitutional amendment. The constitutional amendment was passed in both houses of parliament, both in the Rajya Sabha as well as in the Lok Sabha. Section 3, according to the government, gave the president the power to revoke the article, which is what the president did on the 6th of August 2019. And the recommendation was, the revocation of Article 370 was after a constitutional amendment was passed in Parliament on recommendation from both the Rajya Sabha and the Lok Sabha. The president then revoked Article 370. What is wrong with this procedure?
Let me remind you, Jacob, about the Keshwanand Bharati's judgment, which says that the basic structure of the constitution cannot be changed. What has been done with the Article 370 is that it has been changed altogether. What we have seen that by way of the amendment, Constituent Assembly has been replaced with the Legislative Assembly, and the Legislative Assembly has been done away and said that it can be replaced by the governor. So when you are changing the whole structure of a provision of a law, which it goes to the root of the mandate of the law and the constitution itself.
No, but there was no legislative assembly on the 5th of August 2019. The house was dissolved.
Yes, it was already dissolved, but you cannot replace legislative assembly with the governor's consent.
So if there is no legislative assembly, then who do you consult?
Let me complete.
No, I want to know. I want to know the matter.
What was the need to consult the governor? Why didn't you wait for the legislative assembly?
If there was no legislative assembly, then what replaces the legislative assembly?
Just let me complete it. Yeah. Just let me complete. The communication, defense and the external affairs has always been with the government of the India.
Okay.
By way the instrument of accession defense was already with the government of India. So saying that Article 370 was there because of this reason, militancy was there because of this reason, people were being killed, it cannot be said like that. Because of the reason, defense was already like with the government of India.
So what explains, ma'am, then what explains the number of terrorist incidents coming down in the valley? What explains the number of stone pelting incidents coming down in the valley?
Can't you see the situation of the J&K today? What is the situation? There is no freedom of expression. Nobody is able to speak. Number one. Number two, we have seen target killing after a long 16 years. What about that?
No.
Why don't you consider that? That has been
I'm
done.
asking you the same question. Ma'am, I'm asking you the same question. I'm asking you the same question that I asked Mohit. What is your assessment of why militancy has come down? Why has the stone pelting incidents come down? Why has the terrorist incidents come down?
We appreciate the defense being taken by the government of India. It ought to have been taken prior to Article 370, abrogation of Article 370 also. But at the same time, what the this Honorable Supreme Court has to see, this is the legality which is to be seen by the Honorable Court, not the progress or the normalcy.
RP saying, so what both the NC spokesperson and the PDP spokesperson are saying
I will
is
just put one question with your...
Okay.
I'll put one
10
question
seconds,
to all the learned panelists here, especially to Amardar and RP Singh. Say, for example, tomorrow you kill somebody on the street, and tomorrow do you expect that the Honorable Court will say leave the accused because the family of the victim has learned to live normally? You cannot do that.
Okay. No,
What
so
you
one
actually need to see
second.
is the
Let me
provision of the
go
law.
to RP Singh. RP Singh. No. The question, both Mohit Ban of the PDP and Nilofer Masood of the NC saying that two things. One, that you did not have the legislative assembly needed to be consulted. There was no legislative assembly. You conveniently replaced the legislative assembly with the governor for purposes of revocation of Article 370. And the second thing that the petitioners are also contending is, even if you were to revoke Article 370, Parliament does not have the right to downgrade states into union territories, which happened along with the abrogation of 370. Jammu and Kashmir was made into a union territory as well. Respond to both of that, sir.
Well, Zaka, first, the one big change which has come after Article 370, Article 370 is that the lady used to say कि तिरंगे को कांधा देने के लिए 4 लोग नहीं मिलेंगे, अब वो जल अभिषेक करती हैं शिवलिंग के ऊपर. I mean, that's the change which has come. There's a big change which is happening in Kashmir now. Mehbooba Mufti, I've seen her pictures and seen her videos, has gone to jal abhishek on the shivling this time. But that point aside, and she's the one who has been supporting the cause of Burhan Wani's also at one given time. But that point aside, let's understand the point. The power of the assembly lies with in case the assembly is not there, it automatically lies with the governor, and so governor acted as per the
Zaka,
constitution.
Like to come in. No,
1 second, let him finish.
Sir, please, sir, don't heckle. So, and let the court decide on it, whether it is right or not, because in other states also, where when there is a governor rule, governor takes a call, and governor is entitled to take a call on the assembly subjects. One. Secondly, as for whether the parliament can take a call or not, parliament has taken a call. Now, Supreme Court has to reverse it. Let's see how Supreme Court has to act on it. But I still say the same. Supreme Court has to understand that constitutions, the change in laws are made only for the betterment of the people. None of the two speakers on the PDP and National Congress have spoken about the Valmikis, on the women's rights, how things have changed there, and how the central law has been there in the state also. So this is a change which is happening, and which outcome, which we already said, how the things are changing on ground now.
Okay. Now let me ask the Mohit Ban of the PDP. The government has also contended that you are saying that the revocation had to be recommended by the Constituent Assembly. Now the Constituent Assembly was dissolved on the 26th of January 1957. Now even if you're saying that in place of the Constituent Assembly it should have been the legislature, on the 5th of August 2019 there was no legislature. The legislature in Jammu and Kashmir had been dissolved. It was President's rule. Now even if you say that the governor cannot replace the legislature, the powers of the legislature are all vested with the parliament. The parliament was in session. the government moved these constitutional amendments in both houses, including opposition parties, and may I remind you this, including Congress members of parliament, voted in favor of the constitutional amendment for the revocation of Article 370, and then the president gave his assent. This is the sequence of events that happened.
Okay, Zaka, I'll take 30 seconds, and there were 3-4 points mentioned. I'll quickly touch base everything and answer your questions. First of all, you are saying that, okay, the opposition and the parliament and the governor gave the consent. In the first place, you know, the unconstitutional practice began from the office of the governor. When the governor was approached by the regional parties, including National Conference, People's Democratic Party, and Congress, claiming that we have the numbers to form the government, in haste, governor abolished the House, which is an illegal and immoral practice. That is why we say that, however, the route which was taken for this bill to pass, the consent of the governor was taken in violation, because there were regional parties which had the numbers. PDP had 28
No,
MLAs,
that is not the matter that is under challenge before the Supreme Court. That's not the matter that's not the matter that is under challenge before the Supreme Court. It's not.
No, that is exactly, no, that is part of the matter. That is exactly part of the matter, because that is how the governor's office was illegally used.
Okay, move on to the next point. Move on to the next point.
In front of Supreme Court. That is part of the matter which is in front of Supreme Court. You need to read the petition.
Move on to the next point.
You need to read the petition in the Supreme Court. The second thing, which Mr. Ambardar or Mr. R.P. Singh was talking about, the militancy has gone down, or the terror incidents have gone down. Let me remind all the learned friends on the panel. The militancy in Srinagar may have, or maybe some districts of Kashmir may have dropped down, but it has shifted to the Jammu region in Pir Panjal. In past 1 year, there are more than 9 to 12 attacks which has happened, and in which almost 100 people have lost their lives. There is a tectonic shift in the militancy from Kashmir to Pir Panjal region. Why are you ignoring that? There are attacks happening in Jammu city, which was thing of a past, which was never happening. In past 9 to 10 years, not even a single Kashmiri Pandit was killed. 9 Kashmiri Pandits were targeted and killed. One in the office of an executive magistrate in Badgam. So you are saying that terror incidents have gone down? By what standard have they gone down?
Okay.
What are the measures of saying that it has gone down?
No, it has been said by no less than an MOS home that the number of terror incidents, I don't have the exact figures, but the number of terror incidents has come down. The number of cross-border infiltration has also come down. The number of security personnel being killed has also come down. And the number of terrorists who've been killed is at an all-time high. This is a written reply by an MOS home inside the parliament. But be that as it may, let Lalit respond to the point that you made. Two things. One, that the terrorism has shifted from the valley to Jammu now. And two, what explains the number of Kashmiri Pandits also who've been killed. And this I'm sure you're aware of, Lalit, over the last 1 year or so. Let him respond. Let him respond. You asked a question. Let him respond. Mohit, let him respond, please. Please yield now. Yeah. Let Lalit respond, please. Yeah. Thank you, Lalit. Yeah.
Lalit. Zaka, abrogation of Article 370 is no panache. It does not reverse Kashmir Jihad. It's pan-Islamism inspired, terror infested. It's a military problem. It has to be tackled militarily. That's why you have a very strict security grid in Kashmir. The level of terrorism come down. They have shifted. They have not shifted to Jammu. They are renewing in Jammu because they have been operating in Jammu earlier. Kishtwar, Dora, Poonch, Rajouri. They have been always vulnerable to Pakistani infiltration, or Pakistani jihadis have been attacking that. What happened on 5th August 2019? Abrogation of Article 370 is no counter to jihad, although it has had a huge demoralizing effect on the jihadis. But it's a process. It's a beginning of a process of dismantling of that Islamo-fascistic ecosystem that was prevailing in Kashmir all these 70 years. It's a long disease. It will take a lot of time to correct it. Kashmiri jihadis do not stay in jungles and in mountains. They stay in the houses. They come out of a house, kill a person, go to another house. The society has to change. Number two, one of the petitioners against Article 370 abrogation is National Conference sitting MP from Baramulla. You know what he did? He was a member of Legislative Assembly. Before 5th August 2019, once he said, Pakistan Zindabad, right in the live assembly. When the journalists asked him outside, why did you do it? He says, मैं मुसलमान हूँ, भावुक हो गया. I'm a Muslim, I became emotional. That is what Article 370 led to. Islamofascistic, pro-Pakistan mentality in Kashmir. You had a mini Pakistan fresh in Kashmir, and the worst victims were Kashmiri Hindus.
Nilofer Masood, you know, the contention by not just the BJP government, but for a number of years has been that J&K did not, because of 370, was being discriminated by multiple constitutional provisions which were applicable in the rest of the country, but were not applicable in Jammu and Kashmir. That the centre needed the state government's nod to apply certain laws, that there were different laws in the same country for one set of citizens in Kashmir, for citizenship, for ownership, for other fundamental rights, and that was simply antithetical to the idea of one nation. If you're one nation, why should one state of that one nation have a different set of rules for citizenship, for certain fundamental rights, for ownership of property, etc.?
Jacob, it is very unfortunate. On one side, we are talking about the discrimination, and on another side, we are saying that since Article 370 has been abrogated, now J&K's UT is at par with the other states. First of all, you are making broad day discriminations as against the UT of J&K because you have degraded the state to UT, number one, and then we have Ladakh, which you have stripped out of the J&K, where you have kept the legislation without, you have kept duty without legislation. Is this not the discrimination? Delimitation which is going to be conducted in whole of India in the year 2026, but it has been done in J&K this year only. And you talk about the discrimination. Is this not a discrimination? On one way, the Article 370 speaks about the modification, and what you are doing in the name of the modification, you are changing the whole scenario of the Article 370. Is this not a discrimination? When the Constitution is there, it is for each and everybody.
No, ma'am, there is no, one second. There is no rule that is cast in stone saying that the Constitution cannot be amended. We've had hundreds of constitutional amendments in the last 75 years since we became an independent country.
But you cannot change the basic. You cannot change the basic structure.
How is Article 370 linked to the basic structure of the Constitution? Please explain.
Yes, why not?
How is Article 370 linked to the basic structure of the Constitution?
Article 370 speaks.
No, one second. How is it linked to the basic structure of the Constitution?
Let me complete.
Answer the question I'm asking. How is Article 370 linked to basic structure of the Indian Constitution?
Let me answer now.
Yeah, please.
Article 370 was a door through which all the laws of the Government of India could be implemented by way of the consent given by the Legislative Assembly.
And
you have closed down that door. It does not remain there. You are abrogating. Just
only deals with division of powers between legislature, executive, and judiciary.
Just give me 20 seconds.
Article 370 was in no way connected to basic structure of the Constitution.
Yeah, it is.
It was like any other article of the Constitution subject to amendments. And in this case, they revoked it on the 5th of August 2019.
You cannot change altogether the basic provisions by way of the modification.
Ma'am, which is exactly what I'm asking you. How was Article 370 linked to the basic structure of the Constitution? Basic structure is only about division of power within different arms of government.
By way of Constituent Assembly in 1956, that was dissolved. It was their prerogative to do away with the Article 370 or not.
Ma'am, when there is no Constituent Assembly as on date, when there is no Legislative Assembly as on date, the powers of the Legislative Assembly surely are vested with Parliament. You would at least concede that much.
Just answer me. Just answer me. You are telling that the Legislative Assembly will be replaced by the Constituent Assembly. Say, for example, tomorrow Legislative Assembly assumes the charge of Constituent Assembly and changes all the provisions of the Constitution. How you are going to answer at that
No,
time?
but it has to pass the test of law. No, one second.
Tomorrow, Nilofer
Masood, even if tomorrow a legislature is formed, the elections are held, a legislature is formed, and the legislature of Jammu and Kashmir decides to bring back Article 370, it has to come back to Parliament.
How that is
No,
going
once
to help
again,
now?
Parliament has to give
Come
its
on, tell
assent,
me how
number
that is
one.
going to help
And
now,
number
because
two,
something has
ma'am,
been
it
done by
has
the
to
center
pass
in the
judicial
Parliament.
scrutiny. It has to pass
You cannot
judicial
say something
scrutiny.
which is illegal.
No, how is
No.
it? How is it illegal?
Legislature assembly, even if they pass tomorrow, they can just put that resolution before the Honorable Supreme Court or before the center. How that is going to help tomorrow?
So
Because this
that's
law has
exactly
been
what I'm
passed in the
saying. So
Parliament
even if
by
tomorrow
dashing down
there
the
is a
Article
legislature in
370
Jammu and
in the
Kashmir
broad
and the
daylight,
Legislative Assembly decides to bring back 370, it
you
is
cannot do
subject to
illegality.
assent
You
from
cannot do
Parliament
illegality
and
altogether
it
by
is
taking
also
the recourse
subject
of
to judicial
some provision
scrutiny.
which is
Both
not
of these
applicable
conditions
here
have
at
to
all.
be fulfilled. Anyway, we'll leave it at that. Like I said, the hearings, the daily hearings will begin from the 2nd of August till the end of this month, 27th, that is. The public and other stakeholders have an opportunity to file either for the petitions before the Supreme Court or for the documentation before the Supreme Court after the 2nd of August. Once the daily hearings start, there will be no provision to add further documentation or petitions before the Supreme Court in this matter till it is disposed of. Now, I also want to go across to former Deputy Chief Minister of the state of Jammu and Kashmir, Kavinder Gupta, is now joining us. Kavinder Gupta ji, ये बताइए कि सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने आज ये निर्णय नहीं है लेकिन ये रूल सेट किया है, ये टर्म्स ऑफ रेफरेंस सेट किया है कि आर्टिकल 370 का जो हियरिंग होगा उसमें जो केंद्र सरकार ने जो एफिडेविट फाइल की थी कल, जिसमें उन्होंने बताया था कि समस्या का मतलब काफ़ी शांति वापस आई है घाटी में, कानून व्यवस्था ठीक हुआ है, इसका कोई लेना देना नहीं होगा। सुप्रीम कोर्ट सिर्फ ये देखेगी कि आर्टिकल 370 को क्या संवैधानिक तरीके से उसको एब्रोगेट किया था या नहीं। इसके बारे में आप क्या कहना चाहेंगे?
इसमें कोई दो राय नहीं है कि देश का जो सबसे बड़ा सदन है पार्लियामेंट, राज्यसभा और लोकसभा, उसमें प्रस्ताव रखने के बाद दोनों सदनों में चर्चा हुई है, उसके बाद धारा 370 को हटाया गया है। इस चीज को समझना चाहिए। कोई भी संविधान में, चाहे वो न्यायपालिका है या कुछ भी है, कोई भी पार्लियामेंट से बड़ा नहीं है। पार्लियामेंट में जो कानून बनाए जाते हैं उसी आधार पर सुप्रीम कोर्ट फैसले करती है। तो मेरा तो यही मानना है कि सुप्रीम कोर्ट जम्मू कश्मीर के वर्तमान हालात को देखते हुए धारा 370 के हटने के बाद जो चेंजेस हुई हैं, जिस प्रकार से शांति व्यवस्था बनी है, उसी को मद्देनजर रख के इस चीज पर फैसला करेगी। और अच्छी बात है कि हमारे संविधान, हमारे हिंदुस्तान के संविधान में अधिकार है, कोई भी व्यक्ति किसी भी किसी भी बात को लेकर के उस पर अपना तर्क रख सकता है और न्यायपालिका उसको सुन रही है। ये मुझे लगता है
कविंदर जी, ये बताइए, वहाँ के जो विपक्षी पार्टियां हैं, पीडीपी, एनसी, वो लोग ये कह रहे हैं कि अगर समस्या में इतनी हल हुई है, शांति वापस आई है, कानून व्यवस्था ठीक हुई है, तो चुनाव भी करा दीजिए। 5 साल से आपने चुनाव नहीं की, जो पहले लेजिस्लेचर असेंबली थी उसको आपने इलीगली, असंवैधानिक रूप से आपने उसको हटाया, उसके बाद ये धारा 370 को आपने हटाया। तो वो कह रहे हैं कि अगर ऑन ग्राउंड सिचुएशन में इतना सुधार आया है तो फिर चुनाव भी करा दीजिए।
देखिए, बिल्कुल, जहां तक ये तो वो भी जानते हैं कि शांति व्यवस्था बनी है। नंबर 2, चुनाव से पहले डिलिमिटेशन जरूरी थी, जो कि करवा ली गई है और उम्मीद करनी चाहिए कि जल्द इलेक्शन होंगे। और भारतीय जनता पार्टी तो पहले ही कह चुकी है कि हम इसके लिए तैयार हैं। इलेक्शन कमीशन ऑफ इंडिया की तरफ से जो भी डायरेक्शंस आती हैं, उसी आधार पर हम भी चाहते हैं कि लोकतांत्रिक सरकार यहाँ पर बने। तो विपक्ष को अपना डर है कि तभी ये सभी दल जिनकी विचारधारा नहीं मिलती, जिनकी करनी कथनी में हमेशा से अंतर रहा है, आज वो इकट्ठे होकर के गुपकार के रूप में काम कर रहे हैं। तो भारतीय जनता पार्टी की बढ़ती हुई जो एक लोकप्रियता है, कहीं से परेशानी तो उनकी है। तो इसी आधार पर वो इस बात को
कविंदर गुप्ता जी, बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद हमारे साथ जुड़ने के लिए। Like I said, we'll wait for the daily hearings of the Constitutional Bench looking into the abrogation of Article 370. It will begin in early August. Meanwhile, heavy rains are continuing to wreak havoc across North India, particularly Himachal Pradesh and Uttarakhand seem to be the worst affected. The death toll has now crossed 70 in the hill state of Himachal Pradesh. Streets are waterlogged, highways are jammed because of landslides, and many bridges have been washed away. The army and the NDRF have ramped up relief and rescue operations. Prime Minister Modi took stock of the situation, held talks with the chief ministers of Himachal Pradesh and Uttarakhand. He's also assured all possible help from the centre. So joining us now is Sukhwinder Sukhu, who is the Chief Minister of Himachal Pradesh. बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद हमारे साथ जुड़ने के लिए. अभी हिमाचल प्रदेश में क्या हालात हैं, कौन कौन से जिले जो सबसे अफेक्टेड है, और ये भी बता दीजिए कि फिलहाल स्थिति क्या है, बाढ़ और बारिश की वजह से क्या स्थिति है ऑन ग्राउंड पर, खासकर ये जो कुल्लू मनाली जो हाईवे है उसमें क्या स्थिति है?
मनाली का यातायात को खोल दिया है. बारिश रुके सिर्फ 8 घंटे हुए हैं. 8 घंटों में हमने जितने स्लाइड थे उनको हटा दिया गया है और ट्रैफिक को वन वे कर दिया गया है. यानी कि ट्रैफिक जो है मनाली से चंडीगढ़ की तरफ जाने के लिए खोल दिया गया है और मनाली की तरफ आने के लिए अभी हमने ट्रैफिक को रोक दिया है, ताकि जितने भी गाड़ियां 5000 के करीब गाड़ियां हैं, ट्रेवल्स है, बोलो बसेस है, उनको अतिशीघ्र चंडीगढ़ की तरफ भेजा जाए. तो उस दृष्टिकोण से मैं खुद उसका जायजा ले रहा हूं. और अभी हमारा जो ओट के पास था वहां से 2500 गाड़ियों को भी निकाल लिया गया है. और जो कसोल में है उसमें आज शाम तक उस रास्ते को हम खोलने की कोशिश करेंगे. मैं कह सकता हूं कि जितना अगर बारिश नहीं हुई तो कल तक हम सारे पर्यटकों को उनके घर तक पहुंचाने में पूरी सहायता करेंगे.
सुखू जी, ये भी बता दीजिए कि कितना नुकसान हुआ है दोनों तरफ से, आदमी को भी और प्रॉपर्टी को भी कितना नुकसान हुआ है? क्या आपकी सरकार के पास कुछ अंदाजा है, कुछ एस्टिमेट है कि कितना नुकसान हुआ है?
देखिए, 50 साल बाद बारिश ने ऐसा कहर ढाया है. एक प्रदेश के सभी जिलों में एक समान बारिश हुई है. पंजाब के साथ लगता ऊना इलाका है, वहां पुल पूरी तरह नष्ट हो रहे हैं. बद्दी के साथ चंडीगढ़ लगता है, वहां पुल बाढ़ बहाकर ले गई है. अभी जो कुल्लू है वो पिछले 2 दिन से हमारा पूरा उसमें अंधेरे में डूबा हुआ है. हम खुद इसमें कोशिश कर रहे हैं. मैं और मेरे मंत्री के सहयोगी डिप्टी चीफ मिनिस्टर बैठकर यहाँ अभी आंकलन कर रहे हैं. आज चंद्रताल से कोई 7 लोगों को वैक्यूएशन हुई है. और सैंज में मैं खुद आज गया हूँ, एरियल सर्वे मैंने खुद किया है. तकरीबन 4000 करोड़ रुपए का नुकसान का हमारा अनुमान है.
सुखू जी, आपको केंद्र सरकार की तरफ से कुछ आश्वासन मिला है? आपने प्रधानमंत्री जी से बात भी की है. क्या आप चाहते हैं ये जो बाढ़ और बारिश की वजह से जो नुकसान हुआ है उसको मद्देनजर रखते हुए कुछ इमरजेंसी टाइप डिक्लेयर किया जाना चाहिए वहां पे हिमाचल प्रदेश में?
देखिए, पिछले कल देश के प्रधानमंत्री जी का फोन आया था. उन्होंने हर संभव आर्थिक सहायता की बात की है. आज सुबह मेरी नितिन गडकरी जी से बात हुई है. जो NHI में जो हमारे डैमेज हुआ है उस संदर्भ में उन्होंने कहा कि हम पूरी आपकी सहायता करेंगे. और हमारे सरकार के सभी मंत्रिमंडल के जो हमारे सहयोगी है सभी डिस्ट्रिक्ट हेडक्वार्टर्स में बैठकर पूरा राहत कार्य देख रहे हैं. ये पहली बार हुआ कि 8 घंटे के अंदर हमने 15000 पर्यटकों को मनाली और से निकाला है. और कल शाम तक हमें उम्मीद है कि हम सब पर्यटक जो फंसे हुए हैं, अब हमारा दायित्व ये है कि उन सब को निकालकर अपने घर भेजा जाए जो 3-4 दिन से फंसे हैं. हम उन सब उनको निकालने की पूरी कोशिश करें.
सुखविंदर सुखू, चीफ मिनिस्टर ऑफ हिमाचल प्रदेश, बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद हमारे साथ जुड़ने के लिए. So that is the chief minister saying that his estimate is hundreds of crores of damage. The main thing is the Kullu Manali highway, which one part of it has now been opened. He's hopeful that if it doesn't rain between now and morning, that both lanes will be open. We'll see how that plays out. Meanwhile, like I said, it's not just Himachal Pradesh. Kashmir has been affected. Uttarakhand has been affected. Punjab, Haryana, Delhi, all of them are badly hit in this bout of rains. We leave you with ground reports from the worst hit areas across the length and breadth of North India, large parts of which have been badly affected by this round of rains.
Due to excessive rainfall in Himachal Pradesh, uncalculated damage is taking place, and there's another spot in Shimla district's Jubbal Tehsil, which I'm showing you right now. And in fact, the spot where I'm reporting from, it also seems to be very, very dangerous. I would request my camera person to just show some cautions here. You can see how this entire stretch of the road is completely collapsed, and In fact, this is a main road which is heading towards the main market of Jubbal. In fact, on that side, you can see this building is in a very, very dangerous spot because the collapse has happened on the wall of this building, and this is due to the excessive rainfall which happened in the entire state for last 4 days. Even as I speak, the rain has stopped for a while, but damage is not calculated as of now. The state administration is saying that more than 4,000 crore is the assessment, tentative assessment as of now, the damage which has incurred to the state, and of course the assistance has been provided as of now around 2.48 lakh crore. But situation is very, very grim. Administration is asking people to stay indoors, not to venture out in the areas because IMD has given specific warnings for few districts, which includes Shimla district, where I am present at this moment. So once again, I'll show you, look at the dangerous scenario here in Tehsil Jubbal of district Shimla. In fact, you can see these houses which are down there, they are also in trouble, and you'll find various such spots in the entire state where rains have collapsed. And we have spoken to a few people here. They are saying that they have never seen such situation in last 40 to 50 years in this state of Himachal Pradesh. So this is the situation, this is the ground situation here which we are bringing to you from Shimla district of Himachal Pradesh.
इस वक्त हम मौजूद हैं हिमाचल प्रदेश में छोटी काशी कहे जाने वाले मंडी जिले में, जहां पर मेरे ठीक पीछे ये बहने वाली व्यास नदी कल अपने उफान पर थी। और उसकी बड़ी वजह ये थी कि पंडोह डैम के भर जाने की वजह से चारों गेटों को खोल दिया गया था, जिसके बाद ये जो व्यास नदी है प्रचंड वेग के साथ उफान लिए हुए आगे बढ़ती चली गई। और उसके बाद ये बढ़ते बढ़ते पानी यहाँ ऊंचाई तक आ गया था, और वो जो छत आप देख रहे हैं, ये पहली छत, वो पूरी तरीके से डूब चुका था। और ये पानी अगर वहां देखें तो रिहायशी इलाकों में भर गया था, और वहां एसडीआरएफ और एनडीआरएफ को तैनात किया गया था, रास्ता पूरी तरीके से ब्लॉक कर दिया गया था। तो हालात बहुत ज्यादा कल खराब थे, और ये जो हालात हैं, ये जो खतरनाक सिचुएशन है, ऐसा नहीं कि वो अब खत्म हो गई है, ये खतरा और ज्यादा बढ़ता जाएगा आने वाले समय में, क्योंकि मौसम विभाग की ओर से अलर्ट ये जारी कर दिया गया है कि अगले 24 घंटे बहुत ज्यादा खतरनाक रहने वाले हैं। यहाँ पर आप तबाही के निशान देख रहे हैं कि किस तरीके से तबाही के निशान दिखाई दे रहे हैं। ये गेट देखिए, ये गेट अपने टूट चुका है, गेट का ये जो हिस्सा है पानी अपने साथ बहा कर ले गया है। अंदर आएंगे, अंदर आपको दिखाने की कोशिश करेंगे कि और क्या कुछ हालात है। देखिए पानी, क्योंकि हमने बताया था कि ऊपर छत तक भरा हुआ था, और ऐसे में ये जो आप सिल्ट देख रहे हैं, इस सिल्ट में नंदी महाराज पूरी तरीके से डूब गए थे। और ये जो घंटी है, ये भी कुछ हद तक इस सिल्ट में फंसी हुई थी। ये घंटी सोचिए हम इसे खड़े होकर बजाते हैं, लेकिन यहाँ पर बैठकर बजाना पड़ रहा है। और आगे बढ़ेंगे, मंदिर दिखाने की कोशिश करेंगे। स्तंभ देखिए आप, स्तंभ भी पूरी तरीके से डूबे हुए दिखाई दे रहे हैं। और ये स्थिति आज दोबारा बन सकती है, क्योंकि पंडोह डैम के गेट आज भी खोले जा सकते हैं।
Continuous rains in Himachal Pradesh have destroyed the entire setup of the lifestyle in the state of Himachal Pradesh. Right now, I'm in district Shimla of Himachal Pradesh. This is also a district where huge losses have occurred beside the other districts like Manali, Kullu, Mandi. These are the districts where we have seen massive damage. And right now, I am at the National Highway 5. This is a link road to the NH5, where you can see the road has completely hit the ground. It has completely been broken, and you can see that the patches of landslide can be seen around here. This was after 4 days incessant rain in different parts of Himachal Pradesh. This is Shimla. We have given to understand that in Kullu, Manali, and Mandi, in these areas, Vyas River have flown over the excess limit, and situation is very, very difficult in hill state of Himachal Pradesh. The IMD has already given red alert to few districts of Himachal Pradesh, which includes all those districts which I just mentioned here. And also there are various other national highways like Kullu to Chandigarh that has been blocked, highway from Manali to Kullu that has also been blocked.
हम लोग इस समय उत्तरकाशी में हैं और यहाँ की अगर मैं सिचुएशन आपको दिखाना चाहूँ तो यहाँ पर मेरे ठीक पीछे लगातार लैंडस्लाइड हो रही है और अगर हम दिखाएं तो यहाँ पर जमीन भी धंस चुकी है जो कि लोगों के आवाजाही के लिए काफी सही होती है और यहाँ पर लगातार जो लोगों की आवाजाही है वो तो देखने को मिल ही रही है। और हालांकि कुछ लोग ऐसे हैं जो कि इन रास्तों से नहीं जा पा रहे हैं, पिछले लंबे समय से वो देर रात से यहाँ पर रुके हुए हैं। बाइकों से लोग ट्रैवल तो कर ले रहे हैं लेकिन जो गाड़ियों से आवाजाही कर रहे हैं उनके लिए बड़ी दिक्कतें हैं क्योंकि रोड काफी छोटा हो गया और ऐसे में जिला प्रशासन लगातार यहाँ पर मुस्तैदी के साथ खड़ा हुआ है। यहाँ पर लोगों को सकुशल उनकी यात्रा मार्ग पर बाधा न बने उसके लिए कार्य कर रहा है। और ऐसे में देखिए नदियों का भी अगर मैं जलस्तर दिखाने की कोशिश करूं तो यहाँ पर जो नदियों का जलस्तर है वो लगातार बढ़ा हुआ है। लगातार जो नदियां हैं वो दोनों साइड से रोड को काटती हुई भी नजर आ रही है। तो ऐसे में बड़ा डेंजर जोन है। जो हमारे पास सूचना आ रही है वो ये भी है कि गंगोत्री हाईवे पर 3 गाड़ियों पर ऊपर से पहाड़ी से पत्थर गिर गए जिस कारण 4 लोगों की मौके पर ही डेड हो गई है। प्रधानमंत्री भी लगातार यहां से अपडेट ले रहे हैं। मुख्यमंत्री पुष्कर सिंह धामी से उन्होंने बातचीत की है और साथ ही यहां पर पूरे उत्तराखंड में एनडीआरएफ की 8 टीमों को भी तैनात किया गया है कि वो यहां पर निगरानी भी बनाए रखेंगे और पल पल के जो अपडेट्स हैं वो भी यहां से भेजते रहेंगे और लोगों को सकुशल यात्रा मार्गों में दिक्कत न हो क्योंकि लगातार कावड़ का भी अभी सीजन है, 4 धाम यात्रा में लोग जा रहे हैं और ऐसे में लोगों को किसी तरह की दिक्कतें ना हो, यात्रियों को किसी तरह की परेशानी ना हो उसके लिए तमाम व्यवस्था यहाँ पर की जा रही है। और लगातार जिस तरह से रोड ब्लॉक हैं उनको भी खोलने का काम सुचारू रूप से किया जा रहा है।
इस वक्त मैं मौजूद हूँ अंबाला कैंट की शास्त्री कॉलोनी में और हालात क्या है तस्वीरें खुद बयां करेंगी। आप देखिए कि कम यहाँ पर पानी काफ़ी ज़्यादा है। आगे अगर हम जाएंगे तो कमर तक पानी है, अभी घुटनों तक पानी है और यहाँ पर लोगों को दिक्कतें भी हो रही हैं। कुछ बच्चे हमारे साथ मौजूद हैं जो पानी लेने आए हैं। क्या दिक्कतें हैं?
पानी नहीं आ रहा, घरों के अंदर पानी है, कुछ भी नहीं हो पा रहा है, खाना भी नहीं बना पा रहे हैं, सामान डूब गया, घर डूब गया, बस पानी के लिए दूर जाना पड़ रहा है। पानी
हमारे घर में बेड डूबा हुआ है, सारा सामान ऊपर रखना पड़ रहा है, फिर भी घर भी टपक रहा है पर फिर भी डूबे जा रहा सामान। पानी बढ़ते से बढ़ते ही जा रहा है, रखे का सामान खराब ही हो गया सारे।
जहाँ तक मेरे सहयोगी चंदन आपको तस्वीरें दिखाएंगे सिर्फ पानी ही पानी नजर आ रहा है और ये लोगों को आप देख सकते हैं कि किस तरीके से यहाँ पर वो लोग अपनी मंजिल तय कर रहे हैं जिनका घरों से निकलना बहुत ज़रूरी है। तो यहाँ पर देखिए कि लोग कह रहे हैं उनका घर डूब गया है, उनका सामान पूरी तरीके से ख़राब हो चुका है लेकिन पानी कम नहीं हो रहा है और अगर बारिश होगी तो इनकी दिक्कतें और पेश होंगी। और दूसरी तरफ मेरे सहयोगी चंदन आपको दिखाएंगे, देखिए किस तरीके से लोगों को जैम से भी 2-4 होना पड़ रहा है। तो ये आप देखिए कि एक तरफ तो पानी की मार है ही, दूसरी तरफ जो लोग निकले हैं वो अपनी मंजिल तक कब पहुंच पाएंगे लोगों को मालूम नहीं है।
यहाँ मौजूद है जहां सबकी नजरें पंजाब में डेरा बस्सी के गुलमोहर एक्सटेंशन सोसाइटी में। आपको तस्वीरें दिखाएंगे, ये बोट है, बोट के जरिए लोगों को मदद लेनी पड़ रही है अपनी दिनचर्या को पूरा करने में। हम आपको अंदर सोसाइटी के अंदर ले चलेंगे और दिखाएंगे ये 2 से 3 फुट पानी अभी लगा हुआ है, कल 6 से 7 फीट पानी था। और सोसाइटी के अंदर चलते और आपको दिखाते हैं कि क्या स्थिति है। हम और अपने कैमरा पर्सन चमन के साथ आपको दिखाएंगे कि स्थिति क्या है आगे की। ये देख सकते हैं गाड़ियां डूबी हुई हैं, चमन शॉट्स दिखाई। और अब आपको अंदर दिखाते हैं सोसाइटी के अंदर 6 से 7 फीट पानी कल लगा हुआ था और कल हम अगर खुद आते बिना बोट के आते तो अंदर पानी के अंदर जा नहीं सकते थे क्योंकि 6 फुट से अधिक पानी जमा था और लोग बड़ी मुश्किल से आगे जा पा रहे थे। आप तस्वीरें देख सकते हैं, गाड़ियां डूबी हुई हैं, 4 पहिया वाहन डूबे हुए हैं, अधिक पानी, गाड़ी जो आपको दिख रही है उससे अधिक पानी जो है वो लगा हुआ था। ये देख सकते हैं, ये गाड़ी जो आपको दिख रही है ये डूबी हुई थी पूरी की पूरी। कल ये गाड़ी डूबी हुई थी और आप अगर अंदर प्रवेश करते, हम आना चाहते तो आ नहीं सकते थे। लोग बोट के जरिए अंदर जा रहे हैं, अपनी दिनचर्या को पूरा कर रहे हैं। अंदर की तस्वीरें आप देख सकते हैं, आपको कैमरा पर्सन चमन ऊपर आप देख सकते हैं लोग, कई लोग ऐसे हैं कि 3 से 4 दिनों से अंदर ही फंसे पड़े हैं। लोग किसी तरह बोट से अंदर जा तो रहे हैं लेकिन लोगों को बहुत मुश्किल हो रहा है। आप बताइए, आप बोट के जरिए कल 6 से 7 फीट पानी था, कैसे अपनी रोजमर्रा की चीजें पूरी कर रहे हैं?
कल कम से कम यहाँ पे 11 फीट पानी था और पानी की इस टाइम बहुत किल्लत है। दूध की, बच्चे छोटे हैं, ना खाना है खाने को ना कुछ है, बहुत औखा सर्वाइव कर रहे हैं, बहुत मुश्किल से सर्वाइव कर रहे हैं। ना पानी पहुंचाया जा रहा है, अभी पर्सनल टैंक मंगवाए हैं, अब पहुंचेंगे तो उसके बाद देखेंगे।
बोट किसने मुहैया करा है? प्रशासन।
हाँ, प्रशासन ने कराई है।
हाँ, ठीक है। तो आप लोग को तो बहुत मुश्किल हो रहा होगा, बोट चलाने के लिए किसी को दिया है?
हाँ, बंदे आए थे हमारे हेल्प करने के लिए।
Delhi CM Arvind Kejriwal has assured about several sort of arrangements given that Yamuna is actually flowing above the danger mark, and has assured people and in fact has asked not to worry. There are areas where water has entered in the household, and in fact I'm standing in one such house where water has in fact entered, and you can see in the visuals, in fact these people have been asked to vacate the area, but they are saying that they are living here since years, and now it is very difficult to shift the all items and the essential needs. I'll try to talk to the person. पानी कब आया आपके यहाँ?
पानी जी कल से मतलब सुबह से स्टार्ट हो गया आना 10 बजे से।
हाँ,
बढ़ गया, मतलब धीरे धीरे एकदम से तेज से बढ़ा, अब भी बढ़ रहा, तो अब धीरे धीरे बढ़ा बिल्कुल।
तो इस ये जो कमरा है हम देख रहे हैं इसमें पानी है,
सुबह आया है,
तो इसमें सामान था?
सामान था, पलंग वलंग था, वो गीला हो गया, अब इसको बाहर निकाला हमने, 2 घंटे सामान निकालने में लग गए। पिछले साल भी हमारा बहुत सामान नुकसान हुआ था, घाट में कीचड़ हो गया था, 5 से 10 हजार रुपए लगे हमें पूरा घाट साफ कराने, पर्सनल हम अपने पैसे दे के साफ कराते इस घाट को पूरा।
प्रशासन से क्या कुछ कहा गया है, क्या कुछ मदद का भरोसा है?
प्रशासन ने अभी बोट के अंदर आया था, अलर्ट करा था उन्होंने कि पानी आने वाला है, छोटे बच्चों को नजदीक अपने घाट के किनारे पे ना जाने दे और अपने सामान की देकर रखें और नदी से थोड़ा दूरी रहें।
तो आपसे ये बोला गया कि इलाका खाली कर दो?
अभी इलाका खाली करने के लिए तो नहीं बोला, बाकी कल वो आए थे, क्या नाम है तुम्हारे पुलिस वाले, वो बोल के गए थे कि पानी बढ़ेगा।
In the entire state where rains have collapsed, and we have spoken to a few people here, they are saying that they have never seen such situation in last 40 to 50 years in this state of Himachal Pradesh. So this is the situation, this is the ground situation here which we are bringing to you from Shimla district of Himachal Pradesh. This is National Highway 5 which connects Rodu to district Shimla, and you can see the vehicular movement is completely stopped in this area due to, of course, incessant rains in past couple of days. Administration has already issued advisories that vehicular movement should be stopped on the road. People should not fly on the roads. So these are the vehicles that you see on your screen. These are the people who reside in the local areas, but the highway from here where I'm standing 15-20 kilometers away from this spot is completely blocked. There is no vehicular movement beyond that, and in fact this is the 4th day since we are seeing that continuous rains lashing in the state of Himachal Pradesh. We are told that the Chief Minister of Himachal Pradesh and Deputy Chief Minister of Himachal Pradesh are on an aerial survey of the state to assess the situation. As per the IMD, they are saying that in 24 hours situation will be under control, but still there are few areas in the state of Himachal Pradesh which are under rather the orange alert.
इस वक्त हम मौजूद हैं हिमाचल प्रदेश में छोटी काशी कहे जाने वाले मंडी जिले में, जहां पर मेरे ठीक पीछे ये बहने वाली व्यास नदी कल अपने उफान पर थी, और उसकी बड़ी वजह ये थी कि पंडोह डैम के भर जाने की वजह से चारों गेटों को खोल दिया गया था, जिसके बाद ये जो व्यास नदी है प्रचंड वेग के साथ उफान लिए हुए आगे बढ़ती चली गई, और उसके बाद ये बढ़ते बढ़ते पानी यहाँ ऊंचाई तक आ गया था, और वो जो छत आप देख रहे हैं, ये पहली छत, वो पूरी तरीके से डूब चुका था, और ये पानी अगर वहां देखें तो रिहायशी इलाकों में भर गया था, और वहां एसडीआरएफ और एनडीआरएफ को तैनात किया गया था, रास्ता पूरी तरीके से ब्लॉक कर दिया गया था। तो हालात बहुत ज्यादा कल खराब थे, और ये जो हालात हैं, ये जो खतरनाक सिचुएशन है, ऐसा नहीं कि वो अब खत्म हो गई है, ये खतरा और ज्यादा बढ़ता जाएगा आने वाले समय में, क्योंकि मौसम विभाग की ओर से अलर्ट ये जारी कर दिया गया है कि अगले 24 घंटे बहुत ज्यादा खतरनाक रहने वाले हैं। यहाँ पर आप तबाही के निशान देख रहे हैं कि किस तरीके से तबाही के निशान दिखाई दे रहे हैं। ये गेट देखिए, ये गेट अपने टूट चुका है, गेट का ये जो हिस्सा है पानी अपने साथ बहा कर ले गया है। अंदर आएंगे, अंदर आपको दिखाने की कोशिश करेंगे कि और क्या कुछ हालात है। देखिए पानी, क्योंकि हमने बताया था कि ऊपर छत तक भरा हुआ था, और ऐसे में ये जो आप सिल्ट देख रहे हैं, इस सिल्ट में नंदी महाराज पूरी तरीके से डूब गए थे, और ये जो घंटी है ये भी कुछ हद तक इस सिल्ट में फंसी हुई थी। ये घंटी सोचिए हम इसे खड़े होकर बजाते हैं, लेकिन यहाँ पर बैठ कर बजाना पड़ रहा है। और आगे बढ़ेंगे, मंदिर दिखाने की कोशिश करेंगे। स्तंभ देखिए आप, स्तंभ भी पूरी तरीके से डूबे हुए दिखाई दे रहे हैं, और ये स्थिति आज दोबारा बन सकती है, क्योंकि पंडोह डैम के गेट आज भी खोले जा सकते हैं।
Now, the National Capital Region is not untouched by rain's fury either. We've seen the kind of waterlogging that has taken place in multiple parts of the national capital. Certain roads have caved in. Yamuna River is also flowing above the danger mark already, which is why the national capital is tense. Several people from near the Yamuna Ghat have already been evacuated. Unfortunately, some haven't been able to. They're still living there, waiting for some help to come to the fore, which is why we saw today Delhi's Lieutenant Governor, who had gone to this particular area. He met with the victims there. He did an entire assessment survey of the area. War of words that then began, because he then claimed that this has been the situation in Delhi because of mismanagement by the state government, a charge that was countered by the Aam Aadmi Party. Take a look at some of these reports and the political fight.
Delhi CM Arvind Kejriwal has assured about several sort of arrangements given that Yamuna is actually flowing above the danger mark, and has assured people and in fact has asked not to worry. There are areas where water has entered in the household, and in fact I'm standing in one such house where water has in fact entered, and you can see in the visuals, in fact these people have been asked to vacate the area, but they are saying that they are living here since years, and now it is very difficult to shift the all items and the essential needs. I'll try to talk to the person. पानी कब आया आपके?
पानी जी कल से मतलब सुबह से स्टार्ट हो गया आना 10 बजे से। हाँ। बढ़ गया, मतलब धीरे धीरे एकदम से तेज से बढ़ा, अब भी बढ़ रहा, तो अब धीरे धीरे बढ़ा बिल्कुल।
तो इस ये जो कमरा है ये हम देख रहे हैं इसमें पानी है,
सुबह आया है।
तो इसमें सामान था?
सामान था, पलंग वलंग था, वो गीला हो गया, अब उसको बाहर निकाला हमने। 2 घंटे सामान निकालने में लग गए। पिछले साल भी हमारा बहुत सामान नुकसान हुआ था।
कहा गया है क्या कुछ मदद का भरोसा है?
प्रशासन ने अभी बोट के अंदर आया था, अलर्ट करा था उन्होंने कि पानी आने वाला है, छोटे बच्चों को नजदीक अपने घाट के किनारे पे ना जाने दे और अपने सामान की देख रखें और नदी से थोड़ा दूर ही रहें।
तो आपसे ही बोला गया कि इलाका खाली कर दो?
अभी इलाका खाली करने के लिए तो नहीं बोला, बाकी कल वो आए थे, क्या नाम है तुम्हारे पुलिस वाले, वो बोल के गए थे कि पानी बढ़ेगा।
We've seen at least 72 lives that have been lost due to the kind of devastation that we've seen on ground because of heavy downpour, because of flooding and landslides. Over 100 are injured, and there are many more tourists that are still stranded in several of those hill towns, several of those vacation towns as they're called in Himachal Pradesh. An alert is issued because the situation is not going to change much. Earlier in the day, we had the Chief Minister of the state, Sukhwinder Sukhu, who did an aerial survey, especially of the Kullu district. He then held a meeting to ensure that all possible help was extended to those people who are still stranded. Evacuation is taking place on a war footing. Take a look at some of these ground reports that are coming to the fore from the state.
Due to excessive
Hello, Namaskar. This is First Post and you're watching Vantage with me, Palki Sharma.